Hi everyone, it's Kimber, the study abroad specialist. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 3 places that you can study abroad in the UK that are not named London. So before we dive into the video, I did want to let you know about an exciting freebie. So if you have not had a chance to download my Finding Your Perfect Study Abroad e-guide, I'd like to invite you to do that. It is linked in the description box. And so with this e-guide, it is a lot of fun. I've gotten so much great feedback from a lot of students on it. You are going to have a chance to explore the 3 common types of study abroad programs. So this is basically worldwide, the 3 common types of programs that you are likely to find as you're doing your research. So I talk about the pros and cons of each program. I talk about some of the basics of the different programs just so you can kind of compare and contrast. And then further along in the e-guide, we start thinking about which one is going to work best for different personality types, different locations that you might want to go to. So it is a great read. You can refer to it as you're going throughout your process of applying in different programs. So I'm excited for you to get it. So definitely go ahead and download that in the description box. So we are talking today about specifically 3 places within the UK that you can study that are not London. Now, if you know anything about me, or if you've been on this channel for a while, you know that this was a hard one to make because I always want to talk about London. That is my default position on everything London. It is my favorite place in the entire world. But this is a series that I want to start, that I'm going to start making more videos on, because I get a lot of questions from students who, whether it be for financial concerns or whether it is just wanting to do something a little bit different, they're like, I want to go to this place, but I don't want to go to the most popular place. So I want to go to the United States to study abroad, but I don't necessarily want to go to New York or LA. Where can I go? I want to go to Italy to study abroad, but I don't want to go to Florence or Sicily or Rome. Where can I go? So I love this idea. And of course, I had to start with the UK. And so I'm excited to talk to you about 3 places that you can go in the UK that are not London, that you can still get a great study abroad experience in. So let's dive in now. So the first location in the UK that you can study abroad in that is not London is going to be Bristol. It is the first one on my list for today. The reason why I like Bristol is if you've ever been to Shoreditch in London, or if you've ever read about it, even though it's not particularly my scene, I know that for a lot of students, they love that type of culture. So it's very artsy, it's very bohemian, very kind of chic and hipster, if you even want to still use that word. But there's definitely a vibe to it. And with Bristol, you're going to find that the town overall, the city overall is like that. So there's University of Bristol there, which is the biggest university there. A lot of students study abroad there. A lot of students come from all throughout Europe and other places to go there. And then there are a few other smaller colleges. However, one of the things that I just enjoy about it is that you definitely get that mix of the city and then kind of the seaside / countryside. It is about 35% cheaper than London. So that is always a bonus, particularly for students as you're trying to think about different things like student housing and how you're just going to live and survive. But I also like too that with Bristol, it's close enough to London so that if you wanted to, let's say, plan a fun weekend, you could go there. Even if you just want to do a day trip, it's about 90 minutes away on the train. But it's so far removed from London. So if you enjoy that type of thing, I know for me, obviously London is my jam, my complete jam. However, I do understand the idea of wanting to study abroad in a place that is close to a big city, but still farther enough away where you can feel like you are in a different entire place and you can sort of alternate where you want to be. So Bristol would definitely be on top of my list as it is in this video for where you should go. I think the other part about too that I really like about Bristol, in addition to the fact that it is artsy and you get that sort of vibe that you would get in Shoreditch, is that all of the different cultures are kind of together. So of course, in a place like London, you're going to find that there's so many different types of people. But one of the things is that since London is so massive, you may have to travel out to zone 2 to find one part of the culture, and zone 3 to get another flavor of the culture. Whereas in Bristol, things are much more condensed, things are much more together. And again, like I said, when you have the concept of the media and the artsy and the just the bohemian feel that it makes for a really great time. So in addition to it being cheaper than London, of course, like most places are, and it being a lot more creative, I think that it is a place that a lot of people who are looking for an option that is not London are going to enjoy. I would also say too that they are known for their really exciting nightlife. So you probably wouldn't think that. You would always think of London in general, but they're also known for their nightlife and for the nightlife culture. And there's a lot of exhibits that happen at night. And so there's a lot going on there. So I highly recommend Bristol if you're looking for a place outside of London to study abroad in the UK. So the second place where you can study abroad if you want to go to the UK but don't want to go to London is going to be Coventry. So Coventry is a very nice, smaller city, but it has a great mix of the villagey feel and then also the urban feel. So you will find this a lot within the UK, other European cities as well, but I know within the UK particularly, and in other parts of Great Britain, you're gonna find that there are lots of what we would say are villages. And so with those, they're sort of similar in a way to what we think of as suburbs here in the US or in parts of Canada. However, a lot of the things that are there are original. So a lot of the architecture is original. A lot of the people there are original. They have lived there for generations. So it's not as gentrified in a way to sort of make it look like a village. It actually was like that for many, many years. And it's a lot smaller, a lot more intimate. People know each other, lots of smaller businesses and maybe different people that do different things who have been there forever. So I love going out to different villages and visiting those when I'm in the UK. And in Coventry, you're going to find that a lot, that there is that mix. So you have Coventry University, which is the major university there. And then you do have some smaller colleges as well, similar to Bristol. The other thing you're going to find too, if you are a US student in particular, you might be interested to know this, that a lot of universities and colleges from the US have posts there. So meaning that they have study abroad opportunities for their students. So you're going to have a chance to potentially meet quite a few other US based students, or even if you are not a US based student and you want to meet more people from around the world, you're going to have a chance to do that. So for example, Purdue University, they have a post there in Coventry. Cal State Long Beach has a post there. University of Pennsylvania has had a post there for a while. So there's lots of different schools from the US that have students that are living in Coventry, studying in Coventry. And one of the reasons for that, I believe as well, would be that they want to save some money. Obviously, we're always trying to save money here in the US on colleges and universities. And so they have it where it's in a smaller place, but they're still close enough to London so that if their students want to go up for the night or to visit for the weekend, that they can still be able to do that. So that is a great thing to know about Coventry. In terms of the actual culture, like I was saying, since it does have that villagey / urban feel, it's a bit of a mix. So you will find that even with the sort of population living there, that it's going to be a lot of young people who are there for university, and then you have families, and then you have older people. So it's a little bit different than, let's say, London, obviously, where you just have so many people, and people do tend to be on the younger side, at least in central London. However, one of the things about it is that it is a closer knit community. So you'll have an opportunity to build a lot of closer relationships in a way that you wouldn't in a bigger city like London. Now, one of the things that you are going to love is that it is nearly 52% cheaper than London. So it's even cheaper than Bristol, which is great. So particularly for student housing, student living, you are going to really enjoy that. And like I said, you're so close to London that if you want to get the experience for a day or for a weekend, you can still do that. But just imagine paying 52% less than you do in London. As much as I love London, I have to admit that it is very expensive. Now, I know that people do the comparison of saying like, oh, like it's as expensive as San Francisco or New York. To me, I just feel that it's all relative. However, thinking about the fact that something could be that much cheaper, even now, as we move through this period of inflation that we are expected to see even through 2023, 2024, that is still so much cheaper. It's definitely a place worth looking at if you want to study abroad in the UK, but don't want to head to London town. So the third and final place, at least for this video, that you should consider studying abroad in the UK if you're not wanting to go to London, although I really don't understand people that don't want to do that. but this is a different video. So we are talking about Brighton. So you've probably heard about Brighton before. It is always featured in different music videos. It's been in quite a few TV shows and movies that have come out of the UK in the past 10 years or so. So it is a really fun place. And you'll be interested to know, if you don't already know this, that it is coined, at least by local people within the UK, that it is the London by the sea, because it's a beach town, but Londoners love going there. So you will find people from London there all the time. If it's a bank holiday, even if it's just on the weekend or just to get away after a shorter day at work. So people love going there because it's a different vibe. It definitely is an artsy meets quirky meets techie vibe. So there are lots of tech companies, even some from the US, that have moved their headquarters there, or at least have posted up some residency there, because again, it's going to be more affordable than London, but you're in that vibe of what I like to just say chill mode, which is the vibe I always strive for in my daily life every day. Brighton is definitely the embodiment of chill mode. People there are much more laid back. Things are a lot more relaxed. It's not as hectic. People like to have fun. And so you would enjoy Brighton. Now with Brighton, there are lots of different universities there. So you have the University of Brighton, which is kind of the flagship place. So a lot of students from all around the world come there. You have University of Sussex there as well. So you might enjoy that. And then there's a couple of other smaller universities, similarly to Bristol and to Coventry. So whatever you're kind of looking for, I know that for some people, they want to go to a bigger university where they can at least get engaged and involved in a lot of things. For some people, they're looking for a smaller opportunity, but there's something there for everyone. And I would just say that in terms of the sort of overall culture, it is, like I said, very laid back, very relaxed. You will also find too that if this applies to you, there is a huge LGBTQ community. One of the things that I know that a lot of people, particularly Londoners, like about Bristol is that not only is it very walkable, which London is as well, but you get to see and experience a lot more of nature and just the outdoors. So obviously, if you are living in a big city like London, you are go, go, go all the time, particularly if you're living in the city center or living in zone one, you're just always going, hopping on the tube, doing this, hopping in a cab. Whereas in a place like Bristol, you get to actually absorb the sea and breathe in the freshness and breathe in and take in the sights and all those different things. So I think that's why Londoners love it so much. But I know for some of the students who I've known who have come from other places, they're like, this is amazing because this gets to sort of impact my college experience in a way that or my university experience or college, that I didn't think was going to happen, that I wouldn't have experienced in London, because I get to sort of be in a place where, again, similarly to Bristol and to Coventry, you are close enough to London that if you want to hop on a train, it's a straight shot, you can do that. However, you get to experience this little town that just has so much going on all the time. Even during the holidays or during other periods of time, there are smaller little festivals there. When I say festivals, I don't necessarily mean like music festivals. I mean like different festivals, art festivals, things like that, that people just like to get involved, get engaged. You get much more of that local feel. The other thing too that is attractive is that it, as you would assume, is cheaper than London. So it's about 35% cheaper than London. So it is on par a lot more with Bristol than it would be with Coventry, but that is still a huge amount of savings. So when you're thinking about, again, your student housing and the ability to live and to survive and to do well as a student, you're going to have a great more quality of life than you would in London per se, if you are really trying to focus on saving money. So I highly recommend all of the ones that I've mentioned here, but particularly with Brighton, if you're interested in the artsy, but the quirky and the techie. That's a nice way to combine it. It's sort of like all three combined into one. So definitely consider Brighton as well if you're looking for a place to study abroad in the UK that is not LDN. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I know that as you're going through and trying to figure out where you want to go, where you want to study, that location is a huge part of that. It's probably the number one thing that you're going to be looking at. And so definitely download the e-guide so that you can get started with thinking about the different types of programs and how you might choose a location from that. I would also say too that this is not an exhaustive list, so I just wanted to go through and choose 3 of the ones that I have personal experience with just traveling to and experiencing, but there are so many other places, and I can definitely do more videos like this. I'm going to be doing more videos that are related to different countries and different places. But if you also want to hear more about different places in the UK that are not London that you should consider, definitely let me know in the comments and I can make more videos about that. So with that being said, please go ahead and like this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I release videos every single Friday and sometimes on Wednesdays and Thursdays as well. And also share this video. If you are a future study abroad student, if you're currently studying abroad, you probably have someone within your network, within your friend group who also wants to do it and will be wanting to do it soon. So share this with them. I am so excited that you are here, and I will see you in the next video.